I felt, I think, that moment that if I do this, there is no way back. Like, I had to choose if, like, everything is going to change at this moment. Yeah.
Shalom, everyone, and welcome to New Choose, New Jews. I'm Noah, and today I'm very happy to host with me Tamar Tzahala, that will share her story. So thank you so much for joining us, Tamar.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
So Tamar, can you please share with us a little bit about your background, your non-Jewish background, what led you to Judaism, and so on?
Of course. So I was born in Romania. I don't have any Jewish roots. I am still, and I was a singer for many years, opera singer actually. But I'm still singing. Yeah, not only
so we would
opera.
love to hear it as well.
That another time.
Next time.
What I remember is that I felt so different than everybody. I felt that I am something else, that I didn't know exactly what it means to be something else. My parents were Christians. They were very traditional, so I believed in God. I knew there is a God, and I always had this feeling that I didn't get the answers that I needed in Christianity. Like all the time, I used to fight with teachers and ask them questions that nobody knew, and they used to tell me that I'm gonna burn in hell, and that is something wrong with me, and I have to do tshuva. I used to hear this from everywhere. With time, I think that what happened is that I didn't get any answers. I didn't know nothing other than what they taught me there. I went to the high school, and also there I felt like different. But I was already used of being, alone, sort of. And around 17, one of my teachers came to me and told me that he's looking for a singer. This is how I started to really sing. And I got to live in a hotel when I was 17.
Why
and
not?
So yeah, finally I had money. People used to know me. I had an amazing view at the last floor of the hotel. I used to sing in the hotel. People started to know me. I remember the nights. I remember I used to come home in the middle of the night after I had a full day, coming at 3, 4 in the morning, and just cry myself to sleep every single night. I felt in such darkness, and it was so hard because I couldn't tell anybody this feeling. Nobody understood this, why I'm so depressed.
Did you understand?
No. I just used to come in the middle of the night, look at this amazing view, and ask myself, what in the world am I doing here?
Wow.
Like, what am I doing here? And why here? And why I don't feel connected with anything? I looked for something that can fulfill me, and I couldn't find it. I knew that I loved music, I loved to sing, I loved everything, but what are the purpose? Why I came here just to sing all my life and that's it? That's the life. What happened is that one day my mom calls me and tells me that she saw that they are looking for singers for a cruise ship, okay, in Europe, and they offered me a contract to sing on a cruise ship in Miami, in America. Of course, when I heard Miami, everything changed. I was like, okay.
Now you're talking.
Like, I didn't say nothing about that. I left everything. I left everything. I left my band. I left the hotel. I left the university. I signed a contract with the ship. I knew when, how, and everything. I had the ticket. A week before I had the day to fly and everything, I get a phone call from my new manager, and she tells me, listen, I'm really sorry, but we have a problem. I need a singer on an Israeli ship, and you are the newest one, and you have no experience with this, so you're going there first.
I have chills. I just have chills.
So I was like, what? Where is it? What
From
is this?
Miami to Israel.
Of course, I didn't know nothing about Israel.
Yeah.
It was 94 Romania. We hardly had the internet. I didn't even know how to use it, nothing. Of course, all my friends started to tell me about Israel, what's going on here. They all tell me that people live here on the ground and only camels on the street and stuff like that. So I was like, what am I going to do now? So I think that if they would have come in the beginning and told me about Israel, I could have said, you know what, when you have something else, let me know. But now I'm stuck, like I left everything. So I had no choice. I said, okay, I don't know, I will live with the camels for a year, I don't care.
Yeah.
And then I'll see what I'm gonna do. So this is how I got to Israel.
Wow.
And we started to travel all over Europe. In the beginning, it's amazing. You have this You know, every day you're in a different country. And the most important thing, the ship is Israeli, okay? There are Jews here. Okay, who are they? What they are doing? Now, I was so curious to ask someone, what's going on? Like, what
Who
are
are
you?
you?
I knew a little bit about Jews, but just very, 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 very tiny bit. And I didn't know how to get the answers. So one night, after I finished the show and everything, I was all the time, I was walking around the ship and thinking until 2, 3 in the morning. I couldn't sleep.
Wow.
It was really, really hard. At some point, I got to the point where I used to leave the show and start crying and couldn't stop crying. I didn't know why, what's going on, what's
Like
happening.
behind the scenes?
Yes. One night, I went into the showroom and I see there all the Israeli security guys. They're all speaking Hebrew, sitting there very serious. And I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna ask questions. So I just went there and I just sit down in the middle of all these guys. They all look
your
at
smile.
me. Yeah, like, what do you want? And I catch one of them and I said, okay, I started asking questions in English, of course, about Judaism and stuff like that. And I see him really uncomfortable. Like, he was a question after what do you want? What's going on here?
About religion?
Yeah, like about the difference between Christianity, why you believe in this, why that. Tell me a little bit. And I saw that he didn't have answers. He didn't know what to do. And he's looking around him like, someone save me from this crazy lady in the middle of the night, what she wants from me. So at some point, one of the guys in the group said to me, okay, I hear that you have a lot of questions. I can answer those questions for you.
Was he religious?
No.
Okay.
No. But you need to know that I'm not starting the conversation if after 5 minutes you go to sleep. Like, I told him, listen, I cannot sleep anyway. So please, let's do something.
Share.
So we started to talk. Of course, everybody went to sleep. He stayed with me and we started to talk and ask him a lot of questions. Suddenly, even though he didn't look religion, he had such an amazing knowledge about Judaism. And he told me a lot of stuff, which it's not that I believed everything that he said, but okay, I started to think a little bit more. And we discussed this until 8 in the morning, I think.
Wow.
And Baruch Hashem, that guy is my husband today.
No way!
Yes.
Listen, it's all from God. Really.
You have no idea how much.
I can
Let
imagine.
me tell you.
Oh my. Okay. What else?
Years before he met me, of course. He grew up here in Israel. He grew up in Bat Yam in a very secular house. I would say even left, on the left side politically. Really hated, like his parents really hated religion and everything that has to do with it.
Wow.
And he really wanted to go to the army in the commando. It was his dream. A few months into the program, he got injured very badly in one of their training, and he had to come back home. One morning he wakes up, he sees the paper. The whole commando unit went into Lebanon, and everybody died there. And he lost his commander, he lost his friends, everybody died that night.
And he was supposed to be there?
He was supposed to be there. He was probably the first going in, right? Oh. So he realizes that someone saved him.
Wow,
okay,
wow.
Something happened. What's going on? Why me? Yes, the worst thing that happened to me, it's actually what saved him.
A blessing.
So he starts to ask questions. Of course, goes to the synagogue. It's too easy to come closer to religion. Of course, when he puts on a kippah, his mom tells him, no way in my house you're going to come religious. You go out of here.
Oh.
She just threw him out of the house. He went to Bnei Brak. He was there for a year in a yeshiva of people who returned to Judaism to make tshuva.
Yeah.
And he learned and studied. It was very hard in the beginning. Imagine that I meet this guy on the ship and he tells me, listen, I came from a very secular, anti-religious home. Like, if I would not have been for a year in a yeshiva, there was no talking because I didn't look for someone. I looked for answers to my questions, you know? Yeah. I said, I've been in that yeshiva just to handle you. He always says that. I had to go for a year in a yeshiva to handle you. I was
could be.
For sure.
I mean, yeah.
So we sort of had like a relationship for a few months, for like 4 months, until one day he came to tell me, listen, I'm going back to Israel. It's very, very hard for me to be outside of Israel and stuff like that. Of course, I ask him, what about me? He looks at me very surprised.
The most important thing.
Yes, and says, listen, you know, you're not Jewish. There's no way I'm going to marry someone that is not Jewish. Doesn't matter what I feel. Doesn't matter nothing. I'm sorry. And I got really offended, really, really offended. And I looked and I said, in my heart, I said, you're going to marry. You're going to see. Like I was so, determined. Like, that's it. I told him, listen, if it's so important for you, I will change my religion. Is that for? Of course, I had no idea what it means to convert. So we separated. He said that he's going to Israel. I stayed here. I stayed on the ship. I went back to Europe. We used to come with the ship every Thursday to Israel. Okay, and Friday when he was home, he felt the need to go to synagogue and pray a little bit. He was for a lot of years outside of Israel, so he wanted to feel a bit connected.
Yeah.
He finishes the prayer and he meets a friend that once they used to surf together in Bat Yam. Yes, but he sees him now completely black and white, like mamash haredi, the guy completely. I asked him what's going on, when you become so religious, kol hakavod. My husband was he loved religion. He wanted to, but it was very hard for him, to keep, even though he was not religious that time. So the guy tells him, yes, and today I'm so married. And my husband, what? We are so good friends. You didn't invite me to the wedding. So what if you're hurt? I would have come to your wedding. The guy tells me, listen, my wife is a convert. So,
no.
Yes. My wife is a convert, and we made something very small. We didn't. So my husband's like, okay, Rega.
There is hope.
I know this girl on the ship, and he started to tell him, and he starts to ask him all these questions about conversion, what he needs to do and everything. So of course, the Sunday comes, the ship comes to the port in Haifa. Who do I see at the entrance of the port? My dear husband, listen. I thought about it. I had all weekend to think about it.
What a nice surprise.
Yes. So if you want, we can do this. I finished my contract. I received the visa to come to Israel for a month. In that month, we went to Misrad Apnim, to the Minister of Interior, to get a standing visa. And of course, they told us that no. And if you want to prove that you have a serious relationship, you have to get married. So we were in shock, of course. We didn't know what to do. I think, that moment that if I do this, there is no way back. Like, I had to choose if, like, everything is going to change at this moment, yeah? So this is what we do. We went to Cyprus, we got married, we came back. We sort of, like, started to live as a couple and everything. And we opened a file in Tel Aviv for conversion. So they told me in the beginning that it's going to be around 6 months until I'm going to finish this, and that I need a permission from the Ministry of Interior to be accepted in the program. Of course, it wasn't like that. For almost a year, nobody talked with us. We're completely, in this time I sang in Israel. I had no idea that, halachically, I shouldn't sing in front of men and stuff like that. I didn't know nothing about this. I didn't learn anything in that year. Like, I was completely out. So after a year, that nobody talks with us, we decide to go to Jerusalem and see what's going on with our file, right? So we get to the Bet Adin, and the rabbi there sees us and said, okay, you wait outside, let's see what she learned. She's in the conversion, right? So let's see what she learned for the last year. So he asked me, can you tell me what is Yom Kippur?
But you did nothing.
I didn't know nothing. Just saw in this day that all the men that usually go without a kippah, they all wear a kippah. So I look at the rabbi, I say, you know what? I think it's the kippah day. He looks at me like I see him, that he doesn't know what to do with himself.
How to react
yes,
to this.
He's trying not to laugh.
Yeah.
I think I'm still famous for that verse in the Bet Din. He's like, you need to start learning. It was sort of like I'm converting. I didn't really understood what I'm doing. Yes? It was more like, okay, I'm learning. It's nice. I'm in conversion process. I didn't understand many of the laws. I'm coming from Romania. Of course, all this modesty and all these things. What are you talking about? Like, everything, it was a war, Like, I felt like God took me by my ear and said, you're doing this is not going to help you. And I was like, Rega, I want to, I'm here too.
Give me some time.
Yes. I wanted to leave, and I said, like, that's it. I'm going back home. I couldn't leave. Also, that's also very hard, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that what happened is that Second Lebanon War started, and my husband got a letter that he needs to go to army, like all the men in Israel in that time. I think that it was the first time in all my life, yes, and especially while I was in the program, that I understood that I'm playing with God. I remember the feeling that I'm going to change now all my life, all my religion, and everything for this guy, as amazing that he is, yes, and I have no idea if I'm going to wake up 10 years from now and I'm going to look back and I said, what did you do? You cannot go back from this. So how can you do it without searching before, without, you know? And the hardest thing for me was that he was, he needed to go to the war. And I had this feeling inside, very, very strong, that if he goes to this war, he's not going to come back. I don't know how to explain that. I felt like that he got a chance after the Lebanon, like after what happened with his friends in Lebanon, and he's still sort of not really okay, you know.
Like he's not safe.
Not only safe, that he doesn't have merits anymore, because we are not. I'm not converting. I'm not converted yet, and we live together, and all these things that you start to fear, that maybe something is going to happen, maybe he doesn't, it's very hard. I remember that I went to the synagogue by myself. It was completely empty. I went inside. I started to cry to Hashem, and I told him, listen, Hashem, I have no idea what you want from me, but I promise you with all my heart that if you don't take him to the army, I will do everything I can to find you really, and to find the truth, and to find the right path. And if I find out that I'm not in the right path, I promise you I will leave him, and I'm going to go back home. Wow. And I want to tell you now that he got canceled. His millennium got canceled. No. He didn't went to the army. Not only that he got canceled, he never went to the army again from that moment. And you live in Israel, you know that this is not possible, right? And he was in the commando, okay? It's not possible. No. Every time they used to call him, cancel after a few days. It was completely out of the blue. Suddenly, he stopped going, But on the other hand, I felt that I had such a responsibility to start to do my part of the bargain, because I did a bargain I did a bargain with God, and I had to. Then I start to learn, and I start with actually learning about Christianity from Jewish eyes. So I couldn't believe that I felt so betrayed, that all my life people just lied to me, my parents, my teachers, everybody who were lying. It's I felt like I believed just in an invention, like in a story, Yeah. So I started Mama systematically to also go to the other religions and things like that. And day after day, I'm finding out more and more that I'm on the right path, We started to keep a little bit more and more and more. We decided to separate. We did it by ourselves. Nobody told us to do it for almost a year. Wow. After three months, we were already separated and really doing everything. My obviously goes with the file again to the Misrad Apnim, and they tell him that I cannot get a permission. So I remember sitting in the salon by myself with my husband and telling him, listen, if you want to go, there's the door. But don't expect me to leave the process now. I'm going to continue with you or without you. Yeah. Like I felt in that moment that there is no way I'm going to raise my children not Jewish. There's no way. So I felt really, that's it. This is my path. I finally found, what I was looking for, all the answers, all the answers to all my questions and everything it was so like a war inside myself. Everything goes clear, day after day. I cannot tell you that it's easy. No. It's easy. It's not, to start dressing in a specific way and to keep, in the beginning with the Shabbat, I was like, how in the world I'm going to be 24 hours without phone and without music and without nothing? I remember that in the beginning, I used to beg him. I said, listen, what do you care? I put I only hear I only hear the music. You don't hear anything. What do you care? And my husband, when he decided that he is going to do this, he went, that's it. There were no TV home on the second day. I came home and suddenly there's no TV. I was in shock. I was sitting there and I was like, what do we do now? There is nothing to see, nothing to.
Ew.
We have to speak. We have to talk. And this, when we started to rediscover ourselves. We started to go on trips on the sea and discuss things. And suddenly I have a partner, and wow, he's amazing. One day I got a phone call from the rabbi who took care of my file and tells me that I get a permission. And I felt so happy and everything. But then there was a law in Israel that you get a permission, but you're not necessarily getting also, like there is no time, there is no ending to this. They can keep you forever. So he tells me that from this moment on, I have to learn for another year. So I tell him, listen, we are already separated for 3 months. We are like keeping everything. I'm already almost a year and a half in the process. What's going on? Tells me, listen, we're going to try to go again with your file. They tried for like 3, 6, 9 months, nothing. One day I wake up, and I feel that that's it. If I wake up again as being me and keeping mitzvot, there's no way I can continue like this. Like I felt like spiritually that I get to a wall, like spiritual wall, that I cannot, I don't have the enough vessel to keep everything, to do everything. I went to Rav Yossi, I cried, I told him, and we also thought that maybe if we separate completely, maybe he's gonna, marry, I'm gonna finish it was like completely very, very hard. And I remember that Rav Yossi called, he sort of like went to the Bedin, and he talked there, Rav Israel Rosen, he was the head of the Bedin then, and also the head of Machon Tzomet. And he heard my story, and he and another 2 rabbis decided to do something that never was done in Israel, not in the Rabbanut. Like we have Karelitz Bedin, we have other Bedins that are private Bedin, not like that. Not from the. They decided to convert me without the permission of the Minister of the. The same day that I went to the Bedin, they also went with my file, and again they said no. One of the reasons that they say no was that I'm a singer, and they couldn't believe that I can keep everything. And secondly, they saw that I have many, many entrances and going in and out of Israel because of the ship. Every time we used to come, my passport had to come, and we used to come 2 times a week.
Oh, wow.
So they didn't understand how is this possible. So they didn't want to get me and give me the permission to finish. Okay, I only got permission to start, but not to finish.
Yeah.
And I went to the Bedin, and I remember that they asked me an hour and a half, everything possible about everything.
Wow.
They wanted to be sure that they're not doing something wrong. Of course, they told me to stand. They asked me if I chose a name. My name was Andrea before, so I chose Tamar. And each rabbi said something about the name of Tamar. It was really, really beautiful to see. And then they told me to stand and to say Shema Israel. I couldn't believe it. I also sort of sing Shema Israel. I went to the mikveh a week later, and I really felt that moment when you come out of the water and feel that soul just coming down. It's amazing. That's such a feeling of starting anew, and finally I can breathe again. Finally, I don't think I ever breathed until that moment. Like I realized that I never actually took a breath. I came home. That's it. I'm home. I'm here. I can. So yeah, 3 weeks later, we on Parashat Bereshit, we got married. Couldn't believe that Hashem did this, and He brought me here, and it was amazing. Today when I work with converts, and I'm part of this world.
What do you do?
I'm teaching converts. I'm teaching in B'nai Or now for like 15 years already.
Wow.
And I'm also preparing people for Badin and everything. And I'm really very much involved with converts. So today I look back and I say, no, it was all worth it if I had to go through all this, for the people today. That they can get a permission. Baruch Hashem has His ways, as always. And sometimes we don't know in life the things that we're going through, why. I always pray that Hashem is going to show me, the same as when my husband, he had his accident and he didn't understand why this is happening to him, and then he found out why. And also with me, all this time in my story, I have places where I can stop for a moment and I say, wow, if I would not have done this, when then it looked like the worst thing and the hardest thing to do, I would not be here. I would not be in this moment,
Right.
So
it seems like you finally found your purpose,
yes,
your mission.
Yes. Yes, definitely.
You were granted an amazing mission
Yes,
by
yes,
Hashem.
definitely. And if I would not have gone through all this, I would not be me. I would not have the tools to help others and to help people that are coming this process. And we all come from different backgrounds and stuff like that.
Wow, Tamar, thank you so much for sharing with us your
Thank you.
inspiring story. And thank you for everything you do in this world.
Thank you. Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you. You made me tear up. Really, it was so moving.
Thank you so much.